there's always an opportunity somewhere,
Yeah.
right? And like when I graduated, it was not necessarily in this case, but it was also a downturn.
Yeah.
And
It was.
everyone was just like,
Everyone
it's
was
going to be very
stressed.
difficult to find a job. It's so stressful. Da, da, da. And I just like, you know what? I literally couldn't hear it anymore. Like I would just ignore it.
So I think a good place to also spend a little bit more time. We talked at the beginning of it's kind of, I really do like that the beginning of the interview started off with a not just like, like here's my career, but here's how I made it
Oh,
happen coming
yeah.
right out of school.
Yeah, sure.
Statistic I just saw is that 24% of last year's graduating class is unemployed right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. I heard about that.
It's a little bit tough out
Yeah.
there for kids to find gigs. I had my college intern from Berkeley reached out and she's like, I still haven't found anything, could really use
Wow.
your help. So I committed to her. I said, hey, look, I'll do a 15-minute call with you every single week.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
and
great.
I want you to go through my LinkedIn and ask for 3 introductions
Right.
every single week, and I'll
That's
make
right.
those intros.
Oh, wow. That's
And I saw
great.
one of them, she's got an interview for kind of their, like, summer intern, like, summer
Right.
internship program, which is awesome. So it's
Yeah.
already 2 weeks in, it's already
Yeah.
proving results for her. But, the place that AI is having the most impact is, like, the front line, right?
Mhm.
Like, we used to call these grunt jobs or
Yeah.
entry-level jobs, and they weren't always the most glamorous, and they were usually the boringest things because they were kinda data entry slash
Yeah.
things that kinda felt like, a little bit mundane and
Right.
repetitive and task oriented, and that's sadly, unfortunately, where AI, I think, is coming first.
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on, like, AI as it pertains to workforce displacement? How do you shepherd the next generation of creative stewards
Mhm.
who can kinda come into the industry and grow when they don't maybe have some of the foundational, like, weightlifting
Right.
tasks that kind of got people prepared. But how are you guys
Right.
thinking about AI from the perspective of like workforce displacement and creative shepherding the next generation?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I guess the first thing I would say, just as a hopefully this is hope, even for like for the new graduates, I'm like, there's always an opportunity somewhere,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And like when I graduated, it was not necessarily in this case, but it was also a downturn,
Yeah.
and
It was.
everyone was just like,
Everyone
it's
was
going to be very
stressed.
difficult to find a job. It's so stressful. Da, da, da. And I just like, you know what? I literally couldn't hear it anymore. Like I would just ignore it. When people started talking that, I would just be like, I can't wait till I find like I would literally just tune them out.
There's a mind shit
Is it? Yeah,
mindset situation, or you kind of you can kind of create a spiral for yourself. Because if you're showing
exactly.
up for these informational interviews or even real interviews, and that's the story you're telling yourself in
Right.
your head, that's not setting you up to be confident
No,
and
not at
present the best
all.
example of yourself in
Yeah,
these
so
interviews.
I guess I just was like, okay, look, people get promoted, people move, people, for better, whatever. There's all these reasons. Like, there's companies are just made up of a bunch of people, and people are not static. So they're shifting. And
Yeah.
so, like, all I need is one opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't need 1,000 of them. I don't need, like, I don't need 10, whatever. I just need one.
Yeah.
I need one yes that I say yes to and they say yes to, and then I'm going to be all right. So,
Yeah.
I think at least that was helpful for me
Yeah.
going into the
I
market,
think it's a great mindset situation. Like, yeah, like you don't need to be expecting like negotiating multiple offers. Like,
Yeah.
like get your foot in the door at any cost
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah, and I also just think, same thing with COVID. It's kinda like, where did you land on that? There was winners and there was not winners,
Yeah,
right? And so it's like, how do you just get to that side is how I see it. So I think, like, with I mean, learn it,
embrace
right?
it.
Embrace it, like, it is a part of what it is, and yes, like, maybe the data entry and all this other stuff, like, may be where most people used to would have started, but learn AI with it. Like, like, be like, "This is what I did with AI." Like, if you can show up to an interview and you're proactive about things, and I think you can show, like, what you've done, I feel like that's a start, right?
Almost, you can almost build a portfolio now easier than ever. Like, even as a biz dev guy, I've always had these ideas rattling around in my head of like, oh, if I had 20 grand to do a video about my consultancy, here's what it would
Yeah.
look like.
Yeah.
But knowing that I probably wouldn't invest that kind of money,
Right.
as a small business owner. And on the weekends, I just make that stuff now. I mean,
Yeah.
some of it's never pretty enough to like put out anywhere, but at
Yeah,
least I'm
sure.
like flexing that creative muscle and
Sure.
trying things,
Yeah.
so everybody has the chance
Yeah.
to be creative if they want to try.
Yeah, I think so, and I think, and then I think, like, learn what it would be, you know? Or I think at least the easiest from my perspective is like, what are you interested in doing? Like, if you really love, I don't know, photography or business or whatever it is, and then just like if you were to create a fake project, like as if you were in school or something, and then just like start using AI with it. Because I think if you're interested in something, you'll just naturally use the tool to help you solve a problem versus like, oh, I need to learn this certification or whatever. Like I think if there's something that there's some problem that you feel like you can help solve and use AI to do it, I feel like that A would be more interesting, and B, like, that's a great story once you actually figured out how to use it to help get to, whatever problem you're trying to solve. So I feel like, yeah, embracing it is huge.